to Life in the Deep on Boss Up Houston Network. We are your hosts, Marcus and Chanel Dawson.
That's right.
And we're going to start off by letting y'all know y'all can follow us on Facebook at Chanel Dawson.
Marcus Dawson.
And he also is on Instagram.
King Mad.
King Mad.
That's neither here nor there.
It's important to follow us.
Yeah.
So today, we have a topic for y'all today. Today, our topic is the importance of finances in marriage. The importance of finances in marriage. And our scripture for the show is Luke 5:4. And it says, put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch.
Amen.
That's our scripture reading for the show.
Right. Well, I want to say real quick, shout out to everybody that's been sharing and liking and following us. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And you got some more stuff to go. You got some more stuff to come.
Yeah, it's gonna get deeper. Deeper. So yeah, today we're just touching a little bit on finances and marriage.
Very important. I think that's I don't want to say what my three things that mess up marriages, but that's one of them. Finances, communication that we talked about last week, and probably what we'll talk about in the future.
Real soon.
Real soon. But so I think that's one of the most important things that married couples, especially young couples, because the finances is very important when it comes to the young couples, because they're all about themselves at first. Yeah, I know we're gonna touch on it in the show. I don't want to step on your toes.
Go ahead.
That's something that when you're young in marriage, it's like you come in as single, but you come together, but y'all had separate bank accounts, But then merging that together, it's like the hardest thing. Like, well, you bought some Jimmy Choos and you bought some video games, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a thing. Like, wait, hold on, man. Like, what the light bill is due, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that
priority.
Thing. Yeah, it's the priority and the.
So we're gonna get a little deeper on what Mr. Dawson just talked about, because it is important to understand that finances in marriage, it can make you
or break you.
Literally. Literally, it can make you or break you.
You correlated that in there.
You like that?
It's deep in that.
It's deep.
That's
in
deep.
That.
That's
So finances in marriage is like really important, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, it is like so important, because so many people walk into marriage, and like my husband said, they walk in with separate things, but then when they come together, they forget that the separation is no longer. Then now it's a togetherness.
It's a together thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And we have to come together. Everything that used to be, we got to kind of put it to the side, because especially when you start introducing other things into the marriage, like children and
another thing. And me and my wife, we I don't want to say we're open book, we're open half book, but like. When you get married, we're open up. But when you get married, man, the debt, your debt becomes their debt. Their debt becomes your debt. So it's like a thing where if they paying IRS, guess what?
You're going to be paying them.
You're going to be, so that's one of them things, one of them little things that it's not in a Bible college marriage thing. It's not in a marriage booklet. That's one of them things that when you get together, like, oh, I owe the IRS, I'm not getting no taxes, but we married and we joint, so now you not getting no taxes. And you look at them like,
yeah, and then the funny part is, we really are transparent. The foundation of this show is transparency.
Absolutely.
Because when you walk around living a lie and then the lie is exposed, then you just kind of come out to be fake to everybody.
Yeah. We're definitely something we don't.
So we like to be transparent. Listen, I done had my IRS issues, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're married and you're filing separate, you better stop, because they gonna catch you, they gonna get you. Technology is growing up while we yet still staying babies.
Big brother looking down on you.
Okay, so if you're doing that, please stop. If you're married couple. It's time to get your life right. Yeah. And ask me how I know. I ain't throwing no darts at nobody, because guess what? The dart done already hit me.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you just because I'm sharing my knowledge with you. Yeah, but finances in marriage is very important, and it's it's a hand in hand thing. It's not just my husband's money or my money. It's our money, because they say when the ship sink, Everybody on board going
down. Look at the Titanic. Everybody was gone.
Everybody. The children going down. Everybody's going down.
when the fire was going down,
Earth went in the fire.
Yeah, all of them went down with the ship.
Down
yeah,
because
so
because it's important. It's important, you know. And you don't have most people don't have that outlet that they can go to and just talk about their finances, you know, because they think somebody gonna judge them. But you know, they people judge you harsher when you lose something versus you go and talk to somebody before you lose it. Maybe that person you talk to can actually give you, you know, an avenue, you know, of escape to, you know, to not go down that road. If we had an avenue of escape, we wouldn't have had to go down the road, you know, but we didn't have that avenue of escape. But now we come as an avenue of escape to tell you that your finances is important if you're married. And if you're not, it's important.
Yeah, and it's definitely, and you know, like I said, we can go down, like I said, we're going to be on here a while. So like it's a lot of things that we're going to go over, but I put it like this is a perfect example before we go into the scripture. A perfect example is everybody know Gina from Martin, right? And her husband Dwayne Martin, he was in Above the Rim and all that stuff, right? Very, very popular couple. They were married for years. But then they divorced, well, I want to say last year, 2 years ago, and she's dead broke. And I'm like, you was on Martin, you was on House Party 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. You was on My Wife and Kids, and you know, she had a lot of shows, but then they divorced and she's broke. And I'm like, I was like, how does that happen if you be married for so long? But I look at it as the fact that me being a husband, I wouldn't even, because they had 2 children together, I wouldn't even want my wife to be broke, like dead broke on the internet, knowing and everybody saying she's broke. And you have kids with this woman, and what kind of man are you to let your wife?
Well, some people think we broke now.
Well, they can think
I'm
that.
just saying that some people think.
Yeah, they can think that. That's fine.
Okay. Because I mean, just because we look like we have.
Come on now.
Come on! Shout out to Sonia for giving me these, hooking me up. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate you. But I'm telling you, people look at a thing, and you know, some people can dress up in the nicest clothes and they can look fashionable. No, and they go straight to Goodwill to pick up their clothes because they frugal. I'm serious. It's frugal. You know, I think it's the richest man, you know, known to us, which is Bill Gates. He was driving, you know, his car that I think it was like I don't know, I'm gonna say a Honda. That may not be what he drive, but he drove something like that because he says that he didn't want people to look at him, you know, just because of his money. What he had when he before he acquired the money, he kept it. He kept up with it. He kept up with the oil changes. He kept up with that stuff so that he can, you know, live not above his means. Exactly. You know, and a lot of people want to keep up with the Joneses, but when the Joneses go down, they're gonna go down with them.
Yeah,
so
that's real.
you know, and you know, that's another thing, you know, that's important in marriage. It's not only finances but communication with the finances,
which we talked about last week.
We gotta, you know, because you got to put that together because you know, it's no longer your money or my money. It's our.
Right. And I think that's the most important thing. And like I said, as far as what we do, we talk about it every week because I get paid every week and my wife gets paid every 2 weeks. You know, so we have to discuss what needs to be paid. I mean, daycare that's not going nowhere. You know what I mean?
Unless somebody want a babysit, y'all can come on over. Right. We good with that.
I wouldn't even advise that. But you know, with the
they probably
they'll
be unfriending me.
Oh man,
after,
for real. You know, if you want to make some enemies, get them to watch them 2 twins. But you know, so we have to prioritize. We have to prioritize what we do with our money and be smart about it. So that's what, you know.
Yeah, that's important. So so before we go into the next topic, we actually gonna take us a commercial break because we want to pay some bills so some other people can get some hype on Boss Up Houston Network. Follow us. We'll be right back.
Boss Up Houston, you know why? Right here.
right, welcome back to the show. Glad y'all following us. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Hit
welcome
it
back. We
welcome
excited.
back.
We excited. Listen,
It's a deep one right here.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
deep
real
one.
deep. We are excited for those of y'all who came back. Y'all got this a little treat right here. Hold on. So, this segment right here, we're gonna talk about a question. And if you listen, answer this question because
if you watching the video live, definitely.
Yes, answer the question. And if you're married, please answer this question because, and then not only answer it, but discuss it with your spouse because this is a question that people need to ask themselves.
Yeah.
Right? The question, are your finances in marriage insured by God?
Ooh.
We'll put the phone down on that one.
Say she put the phone. She's serious on that one.
Because, because see, we got insurance for our cars. Mm-hmm. We got insurance for our houses. Mm-hmm. But where's your insurance for your marriage?
Ooh.
Come on, that's
can't
deep.
go to Geico for that.
You can't go to Geico for no insurance for your marriage. Where is your insurance for your marriage?
Yeah.
And have you paid the right premium? Because depending on the premium you pay, is what you're gonna get back out of it.
Like
that's
Dr.
important.
Dre's wife, right?
No. Okay. Marcus is gonna read the scripture.
Oh man.
He's gonna read 2 scriptures. Y'all get 2 treats.
Okay.
But the first one he gonna read is 1 Corinthians 15 and 58.
All right. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be yet steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord.
Amen. Yeah, and I'm going to read one more scripture. It's 2 Corinthians 5, verses 9 and 10. And this is the NIV.
Yeah.
So we make it our goal to please him, whether we are at home in the body or away from it. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us for the things done while in the body, whether good or bad. Whether good or bad.
Wow.
Happy or sad. The song say good or bad or happy or sad.
What you know about that?
You better watch yourself. Listen, I know all about that. Whether good or bad, we're going to have to give an account for everything that we do.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to the insurance of your marriage. If your marriage is insured by God, then it is fully covered. It has full coverage, liability, full coverage, bumper to bumper. It got towing, towing and rental car. It got all of that. It has everything that it needs, and it needs nothing else but that insurance to stand, right?
Right, absolutely.
And then I'm gonna touch on this, but this is a saying that I didn't even know. Listen, I didn't even know that this wasn't in the Bible. Our people have been using this for the longest. Only what you do for Christ will last. Y'all know I didn't even know that was in the Bible. I didn't know that wasn't in the Bible. I be telling people it's not even in the Bible. They use a cross reference to that. To justify saying it. Right. But it is definitely true that only what you do in your marriage for Christ will last, because if you're doing it for him unto God, then that means that he is securing it.
Absolutely.
If you're doing it unto yourself, then that means it has no insurance.
Meaning, in layman's terms, in layman's terms, if you're gonna go buy something, you're gonna buy something that, let's say, you don't need. Because my mom always said, when we were young, I buy you guys stuff that you need, not what you want. Because just imagine getting anything you want all your life. You're gonna be spoiled, and you know when you get married, you're gonna be the same way. So what we do is we kind of prioritize what's the most important thing, right? Yeah. So you know obviously you don't want to get into debt, but you get credit cards and stuff like that. You know they suck you in. But it's smart to pay those off, because that's going on your credit. Say you want to buy, say you're a young couple and you live in an apartment and you're trying to buy a house. Those credit cards, those 4 or 5 credit cards or 2 credit cards a piece that you have is maxed out. Nah, ain't a good idea to get an apartment, because they're gonna look at your credit like, okay, well you got credit and you're not
it's like you're abusing it.
Right,
you're not your credit worthy.
You're not a good steward over. You're not a good steward over your money. You could have a good job, but you're and I wish somebody would have. Me and my brother talked about this. I wish somebody would have taught me that years ago about about credit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't told that, so I was like, well, I was just spending willy nilly. I didn't have,
Right.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And we all have to go through our own.
Ups and
We have to
downs,
all
yeah.
go through our own. Not only that, but our own processes.
Yeah.
You know, we're sitting here telling somebody else who may or may not listen to what we're saying, but they still have to go through their process because you know somebody might be in the Jimmy Choo shop and see some shoes that was $1,200, but now they $350, and they got a $500 credit limit on their credit card, and they never use the card. You think they're not gonna swipe
now
the $350?
That's actually kind of like a good deal. That's
what I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
you.
that's
So
not
they
a-
have to
yeah,
go through
it's
their
not-
own walk, but the wisdom in this is after you pay for the $350, don't pay the bare minimum on the credit card.
Right.
Pay it off.
Pay it off,
because
yeah,
that's kind of what Jesus did for us. He paid it off.
Right.
You see what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Oh,
At the
that's
cross.
good.
Come on. He paid it off. He
out of nowhere with
paid it
that one,
off.
boy.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He paid it off for us because, you know, that's why in marriage, that's why it says that he has to be the Godhead of it all because
Absolutely.
he paid it all. When we
Right.
stand before, you know, God and whoever the minister is that's marrying us, and I'm praying that the one that's marrying y'all have a solid marriage because it says the oil flows from the head down, and how can two walk together except they agree?
How he gonna marry you
and
and he all
somebody,
jacked up?
okay, if somebody marrying you and their marriage is jacked up, then your marriage gonna be jacked up.
Trying to
That's
tell
not
you.
an insurance policy that you want to cash into.
That's that cheap, maybe the general.
That's that.
stuff.
No, the general is good. Don't play around with the
Okay,
general.
all right,
Now
all
look
right.
at
I don't want Shaq coming after me. now.
Please
You
don't.
Right, you right.
So yeah,
You right.
so
You right
I
about
mean
that
that is important.
That
That
is, yeah, that's
when
right.
we're touching that, because that's touching and agreeing.
Yeah.
You know that's touching and
Right.
agreeing that if the pastor who's marrying us, you know, if he's out here, you know, homongering and all of that stuff, then that's what's gonna be passed to the husband, and you know he wondering why he got wandering eyes. That's important.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and it goes hand in hand. If they're marrying you and their finances are jacked up, what you think your finances gonna be
Right,
like?
because when they do marry you, you want to go to them for advice, right? Because they're they're an upper person in the church or whatnot. But if they all jacked up, then how can they help you? That's my thing too. Like how can they help you if they're all jacked up
Right.
and you go to them for advice? That's but neither here nor there.
Right.
What you got?
And you know the best thing, I wrote this little quote, and I'm going to read it real quick. It says, money has no value in heaven, but if we live heavenly, that means holy, on earth, we will have access to more than enough, and we will be able to balance our spiritual and natural life in ways that are pleasing in the eyes of God, and he will secure our finances and our marriage. That means that that's that hedge of protection around the marriage and the finances and everything that's on the inside of what God put his hedge around.
Yeah,
then that
absolutely,
means
yeah.
that nothing can touch it. No matter what the enemy tries, it will not touch it. It
Right.
won't hinder you from moving forward. You won't have to. He said, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed out begging for bread.
Right.
That means that if I'm living righteous, when my children get older, then my children won't have to go knocking on nobody else's door to beg for anything. And that's why I work hard to make sure that they won't have to do it. And you know, wisdom is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
Wisdom. That means
yeah.
wise people. I need to find somebody who's wise with their finances so that I can kind
So
of
you can learn to pick
sit
it
with
up,
them and
yeah.
pour from that wisdom.
Absolutely.
I had plenty of women and men in my life that were wise in their finances,
Right.
and I see it by the fruit of their labor. You know,
There you
I
go.
see it when they buy houses. I see it when they buy cars.
Yeah,
You know, and I don't have to say, "Well, I want a car like that." No,
You
I'm gonna work hard to
work
go
hard
get
to
that.
Go get it. Yeah, absolutely.
If that's what I want.
Right. And that's what we kind of pride ourselves on. Like, we've been there. You know, where we started from the bottom. I'm not trying to quote Drake, but
Please don't.
we started there. And I love the fact that when we and my wife met, she was getting paid. I don't want to. Under the table. Let's just say that she was getting paid.
I was not getting
well,
paid
not
under the table.
It was over the table.
No,
but
I was
it-
getting paid in
Cash,
cash because I
yeah.
worked the job that paid cash, and I
Okay,
had no. But guess
right,
what?
right.
I paid taxes on it too.
Yes, you did. I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah, so
don't
that,
play no
that's how I
games.
see it. Like she got her money.
Don't be putting me out there, listen.
She had that straight cash, you know what I mean? And I was working at a hospital, and like I said, when we first got together, we figured it out, worked it out, and it came out pretty good. Because every Friday she came home with that straight cash. I was like, "What we doing today? What we buying?"
Oh Lord, well we. Anyway,
I don't
finances
speak
in marriage. There is no my money or his money. It is our
should be
money.
our money. Because if if it's his money, and say he come up short and the electric bill due,
then he gonna have a problem if we living like that.
If we living like that,
especially if the blesser blesses the other person. Because even though we're both blessed, but some people have more grace over them, that they'll receive something that you've been praying for, and can you celebrate them if they do?
Ooh.
That's the issue in marriage. I heard somebody say, well, I can't, I don't like my old lady making more money than me, and I'm saying to myself, fool. Really?
Look,
if your old lady making more money than you and she
blessing.
your wife, that's called your rib. Okay, that's what was pulled out of you to make you stronger.
Absolutely.
That means she's gonna be the one to hold the family up. Until you able to make more money.
Right. And in marriages, like I said, with us being married for 18 years, we had our peaks and valleys, right? Where at one point you wasn't working, at one point I wasn't working.
Right.
So you kind of got to hold each other down.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But I didn't go out saying, "Oh, my husband he ain't working. I can't deal with no man that ain't working. Get off the sofa, get you a job."
Right.
But it's women do that. Women do that. And
put that controller down.
But it's women do that, bash their husbands, because they're making little. But what you don't know is that when he's making a little, then that means you should push that much harder as being his helpmeet to help make sure that these bills are met.
Right.
That's what helpmeet means, to make sure that the bills are met.
Yeah, I like that. And, like I said, we was at a point, real quick. I don't know how much we got to break, but real quick, like when we moved into our house, it was a brand new house, and I was getting unemployment. But I got the first job I was offered. I got it. It was paying pennies, but my wife was like, "Look, you have greater ahead. It's just work hard at it." And now I'm working at the job that I'm working at now. You know what I mean? Just having that patience. And my wife was like, "Go get a job." She wouldn't have that stern fist and had a lock on the refrigerator and stuff like that. It was all good and it worked itself out. Patience. Gotta have patience when it comes to finance, especially if one or the other is not working, because eventually they will. It'll eventually happen. It'll come through if you're working hard at it.
And then you have to know each other. Like, you gotta know each other. Who gets married and don't know the other person? Like, many marriages are falling apart because they don't know each other.
Kim and Kanye.
That's fairy tale marriage. That's not
I'm just
even
saying.
real.
I mean, do these celebrities really know each other?
That stuff is not real. And that brings us to our breaking point, because when we come back, we're going to talk about something that's really, really deep in marriage. So we're going to come back after the break. Please come back and join us.
We got some good stuff coming.
We do.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes after we pay some bills. Thank you.
What are you doing here? Red Table Talk, the Estefans. Time to take the table to a whole new place. It's coming to Miami. 3 different women, 3 different generations. We're loud, we're proud. Let's go.
We're talking about relationships, love, sexuality.
Oh my gosh. We all know that you are fuerte.
Yes, I'm a tough woman, but I'm very vulnerable.
Like muchas Latinas.
In order to move forward, you have to go to those places.
I like boys. I like girls. I like both.
Honesty will set you free.
We are putting all of that on the table.
Red Table Talk, the Estefans.
Be a part of the conversation. Only on Facebook Watch.
Hey everyone, I'm Bri.
I'm Ann. Jalecia.
And we are She Buys.
Come by with us.
Welcome back. We are going to talk about who is your financial advisor when you are falling short and your finances are jacked up. Who is your financial advisor? that's important, because we touched on it a little bit when we talked about when you get married and you're touching and agreeing,
right,
who is your financial advisor, because the person who you get advice from, if
they stuff jacked up, then how they gonna jack you
and
up?
not only that, but we have a few scriptures that you can go, if you can write them down. After this, I'm gonna type it in the comments so that you can go back and study it for yourself, because it's nothing like studying the word for yourself. My situation and Marcus' situation is different from somebody else's situation, but we can all kind of glean off of each other to keep our marriage strong.
Absolutely.
That's what we iron sharpens iron. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Who wants a friend that's gonna continue to tell them lies when they know their marriage and their finances is jacked up and they on their way to divorce? I don't want no friend that's not gonna tell me the truth. I'll cut you short real quick. So
she will.
I will, because I don't want that. I want somebody who gonna give me the hardcore truth.
Because the truth will set you free.
It'll make you gotta speak the word.
I'm trying to tell you, hey, speak on it. All right.
Okay, so when we talk about this, we're not talking about it out of just trying to throw shots at anybody. No, we're talking because this is real, people need to hear it. Like, you really need to hear if your friends are giving you advice, and the advice is not leading you to prosperity, but it's gonna lead you to the penitentiary. What kind of friend is that? What kind of friend is that?
Yeah, I say, me and my wife, I don't like to over put it, but we try to talk about finances at least twice a week. At least twice a week, so we can know. I know my check is going to pay the kids' daycare. That's every week. So then when she gets paid, okay, we can see what we got. When I get paid, we see what we have left over. You know what I mean? So we're not going hungry, or the kids, they eat different stuff. Our kids, babies, and teenagers also. We in that situation to where, okay, what do they want to eat? Do we have enough money to buy it? Obviously we do. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure, because if you don't have anything, then you have to have that backup plan. And that's what a lot of couples think. It's, we broke. It's the end of the world. And it's really not. There's avenues and ways. And
it's life and death in the power of the tongue. It's like if you speak that, then that's what it's gonna be.
Exactly.
You speak broke, you're gonna be broke. Exactly. You speak abundant, you're gonna have abundance.
Exactly.
I believe in speaking. I believe in speaking abundance,
especially over your finances,
but over people, just over people in general. And the funny part is that when you speak abundance over somebody and the abundance hits your house. Before it hit their house, the thing is, is your faith faith level in tune with mine? How can two walk together except they agree?
You know what? And it was funny. I was gonna say this, but you brought it right up. You know how they do on Instagram? They got this silhouette challenge. They got the busted challenge and all that. Let's do this. Let's have a faith challenge, right?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got all these little things on Instagram. Obviously, I'm not looking for it.
They need a faith
challenge. My daughter's on TikTok. My wife is on TikTok.
I don't think I'm on TikTok no more.
Yes, she is. You see these challenges, but why not have a faith challenge?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like let's see what God has done for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because what they say, faith without works is dead. Yeah. And that means that if you're not, if something is not being produced out of your faith, then that means that the connection to heaven is kind of, it's kind of like that dial-up. We used to have dial-up, and in between go, you have that. I'm just saying. Hey. 44 and I'm proud of it. 44 and I'm proud.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So but if you look at it, your connection with God is what opened up. He said, "I'll open up the window of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive." And then people look at me, when I say something like that, they looking at me like, she done lost her mind. But then when I drive up in a new car, they like, how she got that new car?
Exactly.
Or when we get into a new house, how she got that new house? It's called faith at work. Absolutely. Because if you don't work the faith, then it's gonna die. That's why, believe it. And that's why the importance of finance and marriage go along with faith. Yeah. Because the two have to agree. Right. The two shall become one. Right. And I like right where we are, because that's where we're going, right? So there's a couple of scriptures that talk about this.
Right.
But the question I have is, who are our finances insured with? Is it heaven or is it somebody from earth? Is it Geico or is it Godco? Because
did you just make that?
I did.
That was
I
good.
did.
That
I
was
just made
good.
that up. You like that?
Y'all do like
I
that.
know. So
you have to hashtag that one.
Is
that was good.
I'm gonna have to go put a what they say copyright
You
on
have to
it.
copyright because somebody gonna steal that.
They
that
can
was
have
good.
it. I
That
don't
was
want
good.
it. I'm already blessed.
That
So
right.
listen,
That was good,
is
though.
it Geico or is it Godco? Because that is important to know.
Oh, I got one. Is it all state or almighty state?
Stop.
Okay,
Anyway,
all right.
so
Just
this is how me and Marcus get. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
But it is real. Like, it is so real
Yeah.
that if your marriage is insured by the things that you see, then when that stuff start disappearing, the marriage disappears with it.
Wow.
It was a whole illusion. When the money is gone,
Yeah.
and the house is gone, and the cars are gone,
Yeah, the TV.
then everything else is gone. Then then there's nothing to look forward to. You know, they say if you base your marriage off of how you know how the children are growing up, when the children are gone, the love is gone. Come on.
Right.
Well, you know, when my children, you know, get up and get gone, I think I'm gonna be finished with this. You was finished with it before it even started.
I'm trying to tell you.
I like that because
That's true because you
it
know
is
that
true.
does really happen
is
because
true.
it's like when you retire from a job and you don't have a job or you're not doing nothing, you die. Well, sometimes you know you sometimes people just retire and just chill and then they ain't doing what they used to do, so then they just pass away.
Right.
Now, we're not wishing that on nobody.
No,
I'm just saying that's
we don't.
that's how it happens to a lot of people. Just retire and they just chill.
We don't.
And they pass away.
But so I just want to speak for a minute on wise counsel because I'm serious. And
Yeah, that's
finances,
hard to find,
man, you have got to find some people who are operating in wise counsel in their finances because, you know, if you have somebody who you're getting advice from, right? And the first thing they say they bring up is a pyramid scheme, and they know that you're already in a financial bondage, and you have to put up a certain amount of money and wait for it to come, you know. And while you're waiting, you're yet losing money because if you put something in that you're not getting anything out of it, then that means that it's not insured by God because anything God puts, He said that. His word, meaning what he tells us to do, will not return to him void, but it must accomplish the very thing that he set it out to do. Yeah. So I hear people all the time, well, you know, the Lord told me to do this. Well, if the Lord told you to do it, then that means he's already made provisions for it. You know, some of us have really good jobs that we don't even qualify for. And, you know, somebody who's operating in something that they desire, they look to us to finance them for what God told them to do. That's the church. Come on, we'll talk about it today because that's what people finances get jacked up. When you paying more money into the church than you're paying into your household, and then you wonder the storehouse is really your house. It's your house. It's your house.
They got people that'll go broke trying to pay their
tithes. Your light bill, your lights off at your house. You and your wife having a disagreement, and you worrying about paying the church. That's insanity to me. That is the definition of insanity. When your lights are getting turned off and the church lights are on, can I go to the church? Give me the key so I can go to the church because my light's gonna be off.
Make sure you bring a pillow and a blanket.
Man, I mean, it is real out here. It's people losing their life every day, and they're connected to some house of God where they can't even touch the pastor. They can't even touch the first lady of the church.
Remember Hurricane Harvey where Joe Osteen had that issue with they wasn't letting people in. Remember
Right.
They wasn't letting people.
I'm sure there's a story behind that too. But that's neither here nor there. But the point is, you know, that people go to the house of God as a refuge when
like a hospital.
He already said if you can't run your own household, how can you run the household of faith? So you look at the pastor's household, and half of them right now are being exposed for being just who they are. You know, my mama call them misers. They, you know, they just take people money and they're not putting anything back in the community. And there are some churches that really and truly have a spot in their heart for marriage and to see people succeed in marriages. But there are some that really need to close their doors and stay closed.
Yeah, I
seriously.
I agree with
because
that.
I'm so tired of seeing marriages fall apart when you have ordinary people like me who don't have no title, but here we've been operating our household of faith. Come on, the Dawson ministry, been
LLC.
operating for 18 years, standing strong, you know, on the foundation of God, not the foundation of the laws of, you know, what man put together for marriage, but the foundation of what God put together for marriage. And finances is the head of it all, because we need money to operate, you know, our own household. So, you know, that's why I say if your household is lacking anything, the Bible says that you should owe no man nothing but to love him. Come on. You can love the church, but you don't have to send your money to the church when your light bill is due. I said it, and I'm gonna stand on it, because guess what? After rolling into what I rolled to in this season, God put the stamp of approval on it that even when we go into church, the only thing we're going there for is for fellowship. That's what it should be for. And if the pastors have a foundation of leaders who stand strong with them, they don't need the congregation to give no 10% of tithe, because them leaders gonna do what they supposed to do.
They gonna keep it afloat.
That's just like our household. If the husband and the wife can't come together, you know, to come, you know, to an agreement on certain things, that meant that the love that we had for each other was a contract love and not a covenant.
That house built on sand.
That's the ones that
staying steady.
Right, and that's the ones that do the prenuptial agreement. Right?
Oh,
So if
Lord,
you sign up for a prenup,
before you get married,
then, you know, to me it says that the love was never there in the first place. But we're gonna talk about that when we come back off of this commercial break. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Our new house is amazing. Great street, huge yard.
There is a bit of an issue with our neighbor's fencing. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save even more.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Peter.
Push it. What?
Bring down.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
If you like this video, please share it.
And hit the subscribe button to watch more great Geico videos if you... Hey, guys, can you please watch the begonias? Just planted those.
Sorry.
Our new house is...
Tori on the beat.
Welcome back to Life in the Deep with your man Marcus, my lovely wife Chanel, and this one, me and my wife had a little small discussion about, and I brought my daughter in on it. We asked her, she's 14, and we were talking about prenuptials when it comes to marriage. What you got? And I'm gonna come off of that one.
Yeah, married couples who are living and have a living arrangement, they sign prenuptial agreements, right? Because they have
for celebrities.
Right, but they got to live in but prenuptial agreements are not just for celebrities.
I know it's not just
it's for everybody.
But you hear about it in celebrity.
It's available. It's a contract. It's a piece of paper.
Right.
But you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, a smart woman, she don't even worry about no prenuptial agreement. She'll sign it, and we still gonna be good. Because smart women begin to put things aside for themselves. He said, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Right. Now, if your husband is not leading right, and you visually see that, and you allow it to go on, then shame on you for not putting especially if you have children, because the first thing the court gonna say, is they worry about who gonna take care of these kids while y'all having y'all while y'all in y'all feelings. While y'all in y'all feelings about the finances, about this, about that don't have nothing to do with the children's well-being. Who gonna take care of these children after y'all finish deciding who get what.
And the main reason why I say that the prenuptial thing, I look at it as male and female. They have the right. I look at it as if we made the perfect correlation. We talking about LeBron James. I love LeBron, right? So LeBron got with his wife. They was together in high school. They got 3 kids together and all that. And obviously everybody knows LeBron makes a lot of money and all that stuff. So you kind of flip it to Dr. Dre and his wife. They're divorced. She wants $2 million a month.
Right.
Or something like she wants $2 million a month and won his security detail and stuff like that. But I look at it as, was she with Dr. Dre when he was making the Chronic album? She wasn't there pushing buttons and making sure that the Snoop Dogg album was fire, right? She wasn't with her when he was making 50 album or what I'm saying? All these great albums that he made before he met her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She wasn't there.
But
so how can she want half of this man's money?
But
what's the but?
My mama always say what my mama said. What I tell you, my mama
butt
say,
breaks a bench.
The butt broke the bench.
Right. She might have been there comforting,
but it don't matter because at the end of the day,
she wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym.
It don't matter because he chose to take up that woman as his own, and and whatever else came with them, whatever else came with her, he decided that he wanted to be with her at the time, right? So whatever happened. I look at it like this. As two willing adults, then you knew what you were signing up for. A prenuptial agreement, is a contract that can be canceled at any given time by one who has authority. Let me tell you, a judge can take that prenuptial agreement, rip it up, and say, give this woman $2 million because that's the lifestyle you afforded her, and that's the lifestyle she used to, and that's the lifestyle you signed up for, and you started it. Now finish it. That's what he can. That's what a judge can do because we talked about it when we talked about communication, and we talked about it when we talked about love, obeying authority. Okay, because the judge have authority to override any prenuptial agreement and any other contract that has a piece of paper that can have a signature on it. But one thing that cannot be voided out by man is the contract called covenant. Okay, that's a heavenly contract that only God can sign. Right. And that's why I said, when I wrote this little quote, I like writing quotes. So my little quote says, it talks about the prenuptial agreement, right? And it says, a prenuptial agreement, it says, if you need a prenuptial agreement on your marriage, then that means that the contract marriage was already in existence and you did not intend to become one as it is written in 4 different books of the Bible. He didn't say it one time. It said God spoke once, but we heard him 4 times. Meaning he spoke it in Genesis. He said it. Genesis 2:24, Matthew 19:5, Mark 10:8, Ephesians 5:31, all says the same thing. That the two shall become one. God spoke one time, but we had to hear it 4 different times. Why? Because that's why I tell people, you better pick up the Bible and follow what God is saying to you about your marriage, about your household, about your finances. Because Paul, who people go and quote about, he was never even married. Most people don't even know Paul speak on marriage in most of the powerful books of the Bible that talks about marriage. Yet this man battled within himself. He had issues of his mind. He had issues of his flesh, and he said he wished all men would be like him, single. But God said, but who you gonna believe? But who you gonna believe? You gonna believe God or you gonna believe Paul? Because God said it's not good for man to be alone. So I'm gonna fashion him a helpmeet. Okay. So Paul decided he wanted to be by himself, and then he wanted to drag a whole bunch of men along with him. And then he got some foolish men. I'm going to call them foolish because that's what the Bible says, that they're foolish, because they start out as fools and then they go and they drag other fools with them, to say women shouldn't be standing standing up preaching the gospel. Women shouldn't be doing this, but a woman laid on her back and gave birth to what is now called a man. If we can do that much and we can have that much impact, if you listen to one called your wife, come on, if her mind is sound now if she just cuckoo the boot, you might not want to listen to her. You might want, if she's a praying woman, if she's a woman that speaks life over you, listen to her. But if she cuckoo, you might need to go get her some help, and then
that prenuptial works out there.
And a prenuptial will work out for you.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, finances in marriage, it is very important, because it is like almost the number one reason why marriages fall apart.
Absolutely.
Communication is the first one. Because if you can't even have a general conversation about finances, when you start talking about it, you're really gonna be throwing stuff around.
I mean, and like I said, my wife brings up a perfect point. It's like, if you're thinking about a prenuptial when you get into the marriage, then the first thing you think about is money. You're not thinking about love. You're not thinking about, oh, I love this woman, I do anything for her. The first thing you think about is, okay, well, my money need to be right.
Exactly.
So I can see exactly. I see your point.
Yeah, because
Paul would have got hit with a rock. I would have knocked Paul out.
Paul hit Stephen with a rock. That's why he had to convert his life around, turn it around.
Knock Paul out.
Because I'm telling you, listen, I'm telling you, if you guys have any questions about finances in marriage, communication in marriage, talk to somebody who's wise. I'm telling you, because your marriage don't have to end just because of finances. There's programs out here, that or banks that'll lend you the money or whatever. Whatever the thing is, but people, I done seen people talking down on their spouse when it comes to finances, just because they got a little increase on their job. They start talking down on the one who fought with them when they were absolutely nothing. No man on this earth has anything to offer me after what my husband have done for me. Meaning, through thick and thin, I went from all the way under the bottom, not the bottom. I was in the basement, okay, and my husband stuck with me as well as he was in the basement, and I stuck with him. So, that's why I always say, people are only going to get a part of who he is if they try to come in between, and they'll only get a part of who I am if they try to come in between. And finances is the number one thing that put a wedge between the love of a husband and a wife. It is. It's part of the number one reason, aside from communication. That's why you have to have it. You have to have that wise counsel that you can go to.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's how we talk for today. Finances and marriage, and the last thing I'm gonna end with: God honors marriage, and He prospers everything associated with it. That means your business, your ministry, and anything that concerns you. God prospers it. And you can take a God check to the bank, and it will not bounce. Believe that.
It will not return void.
It will not return void.
Absolutely.
It'll accomplish that very thing that He told you to do with it.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's just in closing to this, the financial thing it's the most important thing, but it's a thing that you have to talk about it, even though it's going to hurt, even if you don't have it or if you do have it. But it's the most important thing, especially if you have children. Definitely is important to talk about finances and get your finances together so you can be in one stream.
That's right.
One stream.
That's right. Well, we want to thank y'all for joining us today. Follow us on Boss Up Houston Network on Facebook. And also, if you want to advertise on Boss Up Houston Network, you can go to bossuphoustonnetwork@gmail.com. And I'm telling you, advertising, if you're in business, please advertise. It is important, because you just never know who might need your service. And listen, if whatever you invest in, that's what you're going to get out of it. So you got to invest in yourself and your business.
And check and follow Boss Up Houston on YouTube too.
Yes.
Go to YouTube. You can get all the shows, all the great shows on the network. You can check them out on YouTube too.
So thank y'all for joining. We love y'all and have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.